Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're taking a look at the Neewer HB80C. It'll cost you this much at the time of the recording of the video, and I did buy this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. Okay, first off we have the case, and the case is nothing to write home about. It's very cheap. It feels okay. It'll do the job. It's not the best quality. Again, this is Neewer, budget brand. Feels if I yank really hard, I could rip this right out. The zippers are not super strong. And inside you get this nylon stuff, which I hate, but you do get a top pocket. Your instructions, you get a USB-C to USB-C. You get this tripod here, and you get a mount as well, all metal. And then inside you're going to get, and it's a little difficult to get out of the box here, you're going to get the light itself, and you're going to get the dish here with some nice substantial foam. And then the inside is all this cutout foam, and that's about it. And there are no feet on the bottom. Okay, let's take a look at build quality. Now, the light is made of what feels to be, I think, a plastic, but it's a very, very heavy-duty plastic. You do have vents all over for air distribution, which is great, and a big old fan on the back here. Starting on the back, you get your menu button, your mode, your temperature button, your fan control, and of course your jog dial, which OTA depresses, and you do get a screen, which we'll look at later. On the bottom, you do get a 1/4-20 for your mount, which we'll go over. And on the side, you get your charging port, which is a USB Type-C and on and off. And yes, this thing actually has a built-in battery. So there you go. There you have it. And on the front is going to be your Bowen's mount release. And you can actually remove this front and use the light bare, which is pretty cool. I will say that it's a little difficult to screw this back on. But there you go, there you have it. So I have a feeling there's going to be some, or there is some interchangeable parts here. And one thing I do not like about this is once you take this off, it is very difficult to get back on. So there's definitely something wrong with the screw thread here. You have to line it up just right. So that could be a bit of an issue for most. So I would not take this off. And let's take a look at the Bowen's mount release. And there you go. That is pretty tight. It's not going to go anywhere, which is nice. And the release is on the bottom, which works well. Now let's take a look at the tripod here that it comes with. Now I really do like this tripod, one, because look how low you can set it. But this tripod has a trick, and that is when you turn this dial up here, it then becomes a much taller tripod. I love things like that. And this is made of all metal. It's super awesome. Really love the tripod. I really wish they just sold these separately. Hopefully they will. And let's take a look at the mount. You get an all metal mount. The knobs feel great. You do have an umbrella holder. And what I really love about this is that you can just stick this in the bottom here. And all you have to do is turn the wheel. And it does have some recess spaces so that you can go ahead and we'll go ahead and lock that in. And then you have a very long USB-C to USB-C. And your dish feels pretty solid as well. Now, one thing that is missing is there is no way to attach the light to the light stand. You will have to provide your own spigot. That is something that is missing, and there is no power outlet. So you will have to buy an AC adapter, a power outlet to plug this into the wall. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck plugging this into a power supply or your computer. So I just grabbed this spigot that I owned off my shelf here, and let's go ahead and flatten this out. And let's go ahead and start to assemble this light here. And as you see, that twists on very, very nicely. Now, I will say that yes, this does, although it doesn't look like it does, this thing does have a whole bunch of teeth. So it is not it is a rosette system. It is not a disc system. Again, I really hate these. So this is going to be very difficult to point in the exact direction that you want, even though there are a lot of teeth. Again, I'll leave a link to my video where you can go and find out how to correct this. Usually I just pop a rubber washer in here, and that gives me full flexibility. And that is usually how I fix it, but I'll leave it down in the link below. As you can see, we get a very, very, very lovely, very readable screen. Now, we have basically this knob, which controls the integer here, and it goes from 0 up to 100. There is no quick button to get up there. So it does take a few swipes. Up top, you have your fan speed, how much battery you have, and your dimming curve. Now, when you press this in, it goes to your CCT, goes from 2500 all the way up to 7500 Kelvin. We'll go down to 39 because that's what we're shooting here. And there you go. And you press it again, and you've got plus minus green all the way up and down to 50. Which is always very nice. So yes, you can control this light, you can color correct this light, which is fantastic. Now we'll go ahead and hit this thermometer button here, and it actually tells you how hot your light is, which is kind of nice to know. It tells you how much heat is being generated. Okay, guys, so I made a little bit of a mistake in the review. So here's future Steven. So basically what this fan button does is it turns this light from full mode to muted mode. And what I mean about that is, let's go ahead and go back into our light here. And as you can see, when there are less blades on the little fan diagram, you're at 45 watts power. And that is muted mode. And when you press the button again, you can see there's a little bit of a power jump there. I'll do that again so you can kind of see. And there's a very tiny power jump. You're basically going from 45 watts power. Oops. If we're basically going from 45 watts power, and then you hit the button, and now we are at 65 watts of power. So there you go. That is what the fan does. It is a power mode, not a fan mode like you'll hear me say somewhere in the video. And to scroll through the rest of this menu, which I forgot to do, you have your firmware version. You have reset all settings. You can control your channels here. You can reset all your infinity to the infinity reset, and you can control the dimming curve. So it does give you curve options as well, which is very cool. And you're back to the power. We'll leave it at 65. And we'll go into this mode button here, and that's going to change through your modes. Of course, you've got your HSI, full control there, and this is a very lovely blue. So the colors do look nice and rich. And then you hit, and you've got, of course, your fire, you've got your police, your fire, you got a hue, you got a CCT, you got the INT, you've got fake TV, you've got fireworks, and it does blast in different colors, which I really, really like. So it's not just blasting in one color. You've got party, you've got music. So there you go. So if you need it for a music video, there you go, you have it. Then we have lightning. And again, you can control the speed of this, but you cannot control the colors here of the special effects, just the speed. And we move up to paparazzi, bad bulb, you've got bomb or explosion, you've got welding, you've got this kind of flashy bit here, and then you have that in CCT. Then you have pulse, you have your HSI, and you have your HSI pulse here. And then you're back to police fire/fire. So there you go. There you have it. Hitting the mode button again. You go into this mode. And again, this is a matching mode. So you can match a cloudy day. You can match the moonlight. Also, you match lighting sources. Again, they don't tell you what source you're matching. You kind of have to guess from the picture or read the instruction manual to know. But this is like the GVM lights. They are going into trying to match other light sources, which is very interesting. So that is very cool. And here you have control, I do believe, you do have control of just how bright it is. You do not have control of the color temperature, but it is telling you what color temperature it is so you can match it with your other lights. So there you go. There you have it. Hitting the mode button again, you go into your Lee gels, which is always very nice. Again here, when you press this in, you only can control the brightness. You cannot control the color. And we'll talk about that in the end and why I think that's a mistake. Pressing the mode button, you now get Roscoe gels. So there you go. And again, when you're pressing the wheel, you can control the gel color or how bright it is. And pressing the mode button, you get your X and Y so that you can mess with that. I never touch that. I always leave that alone. But you do get X and Y control here. And again, control of how bright it is. And again, pushing in the wheel will help you bounce around to the different options. And then hitting in the mode here, this is in RGB CW, so you've got control of your whites, your greens, your blues, your tungsten. So there you go. Again, I never mess with this. And finally, back to your CCT mode. So here we are at 1%, just to give you an idea of how low this goes. So really 1% is maybe about 5-ish, 10%. There you go. There you have it. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons here. Now, let's start off with the cons. And I'm going to start off by saying that you cannot control the color when in gels mode. That to me is a huge misfire, a huge mistake. If I'm trying to match a source and use a gel, say I want to match for like, I want to do 4400 Kelvin for something, or 65, or or like a 4400, or like let's say a 6500 to match, the day. You cannot do that with the gels. So you are only stuck to 5600 Kelvin and 3200 Kelvin. And I think that's a huge mistake. But it does come with gels. The other thing is this does not have a spigot so that you can actually attach the light to to this. I guess their idea is for you to just attach this straight to the tripod, which is rather odd. But I guess you can just come in here, take this off, and I guess you can just, screw this in the bottom. I don't know why you would want to do that without having any kind of control. But there you go. There you have it. That is how it is. Again, I would highly recommend not taking this cap off. Yes, you can use the light as a bare source. I do believe they're going to sell things that you could attach to this, but getting this thing on is a nightmare. It took me at least 3 to 4 minutes to get it into the right spot to screw it back on. So I would definitely leave this on. So there you go. And let's talk about the mount. While I really love the mount and they give you everything that you need, it has teeth. Easy fix, just stick a rubber washer, unscrew this and stick a rubber washer in here. You should be fine. The other thing is, not only does this not come with a spigot, but it comes with no way to charge this light. Yes, there is a built-in battery, but all you get is a USB-C to USB-C. There is no plug-in here, and I think that's a mistake. So those are definitely negatives there. And again, having your color controls in not only your gels mode, but also your special effects modes would have been extremely helpful in order to match your other lighting. Again, you cannot do that here. You only have control over the speed. And finally, the big negative is when you're in gels mode, when you're in that light source matching mode, I know that in Lee and Roscoe gel modes, they only give you the number. They don't tell you what gel it is, unfortunately. So you'll have to go and look it up on their websites. I really hate the fact that people still do that in 2024/2025. I do know that now GVM and all the other brands now say what the gel is and give you the number. So Neewer definitely has some catching up to do there. And of course, in special effects mode, like I said, you cannot control your color temperature, just the speed. And finally, the case here. The case is just meh. One thing I don't like is I don't like this kind of foam, but I don't like the fact that you have to feed this in and then drop the whole unit in. I think it's very fiddly. It's very difficult to get out of the case here. I hate when things do this, when you have to like dovetail it in. So I will most likely be replacing this case so I could put everything in, not all together. And that's it. The case is no great shapes. It has this cheap nylon and it has some cheap straps and some cheap zippers. It'll do the job. It'll be fine. There are no feet on the bottom, so you be careful when you put this on the ground. And again, the stitching work is not great. You're getting kind of like these wrinkles here. Not the best case. I could definitely see this wearing and ripping very fast. So most likely you will have to replace this case very quickly. And when it comes to color correcting this thing, yes, the plus minus green does work fairly well. I know that this 5600 Kelvin, I went up to plus 19, and that did color correct this. I did get basically got no correction gel. Of course, the delta UV was minus 0.0010, which is not bad. So you're going to suffer a little bit on the planking curve, for those of you who know what that is, when you adjust for color. But I think that's kind of across the board. I've noticed with a lot of these units that you sacrifice one for the other. But really not terrible at all. It does have a TLCI of 97, which is fairly good. So there you go. So let's talk about the positives. This thing is very nice. It is built like a rock. I really do like the quality that comes out of it. Let's talk about the accessories. You do get this very cool tripod here where you can go either low or give the top a twist. And it's very high. It's very easy to work with. You get an all metal construction mount here. I do love these wheels. That I like the fact that I don't have to sit here screwing this in. And again, you do have these recesses here, which is very cool. The only thing I would say, again, the negative, it's a rosette system, not a disc system, easily fixed. So that's not kind of a non-issue as well. And you do get the umbrella holder. I do absolutely love the dish here. It snaps on if I want to put this on some kind of moving rig. The dish is not going to bounce around. The release is very nice. It feels fine. I do like the on-off button. I like where the power button is. And let's talk about the screen. The screen looks absolutely fantastic. It is viewable from every angle. Super fantastic. The fan is not loud at all. I have this at 100% at 65% with the high-speed fan, and I ran this thing for at least an hour and a half and could not hear it. The buttons, while they are a little bit on the plasticky side, they work well. They are pretty solid. I do really love this jog dial that presses in. I think it works just fine. I like the fact that it does give you your temperature. You've got a lot of modes to choose from. The mode button works well. The menu system works well. You've got controls of your red, your green, blues, your greens, your colors. Everything's there. You've got X and Y control. You've got gel. You've got special effects. I will say that I do like the fire effect on speed 5. I think it looks the best. They do have one that's random, but sometimes it flashes too much, so I would definitely stick to what it's already set to usually, which is 5. That's going to be your best setting. And the other visual effects work great. It does have that music effect where the light will strobe when it hears music. So if you're doing music videos or you're doing something in concert, A+ is there. Really do like this. You can get this fairly color accurate. So they did a really nice job on the color science there. And I think this is pretty darn good. I do like the fact that you get the recessed holes here, so this thing isn't going to spin around on you. That is an added bonus. So at the end of the day, do I recommend this? Who is this for? At this price point, this is pretty darn good for a beginner light. I do love how small this is. The fan is very quiet. Like I said, it's got a beautiful screen. It's very intuitive. The controls are very easy to use. And I just think that this would be a very nice solid light. And yes, because it is regular Bowens mount, you can use a modifier. Keep in mind, any modifier you stick on this, the color is going to change a bit. So you'll have to play with the plus minus green. And yes, you can remove this and use it bare bulb. But I would say that this is, like I said, a pain to get back on. So really think about that before you do that. But all in all, I'm very impressed that this came from Neewer. Neewer being a budget brand, being a brand that doesn't necessarily scream quality a lot of the times, as it did back in the day. I think they've come very, very far, and I'm very excited to see what else they come up with. But for the price point, if you need something like this, if you need an 80-watt color light to stick like in your backgrounds, or even use a key light, although I would highly recommend doing either 200 or 300 for key light, but definitely as a background light or as a fill light or hair light, this thing really, really nice, and I love how small it is. So, those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.